Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the January 15th Board of Supervisors meeting here in Tuolumne County. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready to begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, this is the time when members of the public can speak on any item not on the printed agenda. And can I see a show of hands of how many people would like to speak? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm going to ask to limit your comments to 2 minutes. And whoever wants to go first is welcome to the podium.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. My name is Mark Dyke, and I'm the director of the Family Resource Center in Jamestown, and I'm also the Homeless and Foster Youth Liaison for the Tuolumne County Superintendent of Schools Office. Been working on homeless issues for a long time. And with me is two people who we've been working on a project together, and my former boss, who is the former superintendent of Jamestown School District. And I'll let you guys just introduce yourselves.
I'm Dr. Brenda Chapman.
Shelley Muniz.
And we just want to, for a moment, address homelessness. There was a great article or opinion piece by Frank Smartin. The lead paragraph, the homeless situation in Tuolumne County is never going to get better, only worse unless a coalition of people, organizations, and governments come together to start the long, expensive process of getting a handle on the situation. And we really agree with that statement, and we've been working on this for a while. And one of the common denominators of people who wind up in our shelters, in our jails, and in our homeless situations is childhood trauma. And we want to address that childhood trauma to get a handle on the homeless situation. And so we've been working on that and have a diagram of some of a way to approach that with a trauma center and then housing options being part of that. And want to really stress that I know that we're applying for grants as a county right now to address our homeless issues and to increase affordable housing. And want to really talk about, there's a county in New Jersey, Bergen County, that has eliminated homelessness. And one of her, Julia Orlando, who's the director of Bergen County Housing, Health, and Human Services Center, says that you absolutely have to have a point person whose job it is to end homelessness. And I would urge the county in the work and in the grant process to look at this really important point that we need someone who that's their job, to end homelessness in our county and to address poverty. And then I'll just give you her 5 recipes. We don't have to reinvent this. This is being done. Lots of places are being successful at this. But her 5 points are: provide one-stop housing and health and employment services in a welcoming environment, which is kind of what we've got there by design. Adopt the housing first model. Change the focus from fixing people to finding housing. Create a government, faith-based, and nonprofit collaborative model where everyone is brought into the same philosophy and goal, and provide low to no barrier housing focused on sheltering. For example, eliminate some of these processes of screening people. And then adopt a county homelessness trust fund. This can provide additional financing to acquire property, purchase housing, rental vouchers, find supportive services, and provide family housing homeless prevention projects. And I know these things are in the grant. So
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for everything you do down in Jamestown, by the way.
And, can you reach out to me after, please?
Sure. And there are a few spelling errors on that. We rushed to get that done, so the young man who did that, pardon us for this.
Brenda, please give me a call.
Thank you, I will.
Good morning, sir.
Morning. My name is Earl Randall. I'm from the Bay Area years ago, and I was with the Teamsters, and I was assigned to the homeless down there in the Bay Area. I worked with them down there. Now I'm up here, and I'm working with Give Someone a Chance. The bus deal we have for the showers and stuff, it works out very well. It is there, they come there, they sign up, and then they get a box, and they go in this trailer. This girl named Nancy has a trailer with all kinds of clothes and sleeping bags and stuff, and they give them to the homeless people. And then they take their showers, and we pick them up and stuff like that. But why I'm here today, I'd like to see if the county would put in about 3 or 4 porta potties, and then also furnish a couple dumpsters for the homeless can pick up the garbage to put in the dumpsters and clean up these areas on the thing there. And like the other people were talking, it's something new going on, and it ain't going to go away until we take and try to clean it up a little bit here for this county. Modesto has the problem. We all have the problem. But I would like to see we get a couple dumpsters put down there on Rotelli's property down there for they can clean that up. It's a mess. And we have a lot of them picking up the stuff already now and putting them in garbage bags, but we need some dumpsters. And it would be nice if you guys and the ladies would assign us a couple of dumpsters.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Supervisors. Happy belated New Year.
Welcome to Tuolumne County.
Thank you. It's good to be back. Come to introduce and reintroduce myself to the board. My name is Matt Reed. I'm from Congressman Tom McClintock's office. I come down here at least once a month, but definitely once a month to do constituent office hours here at the county building. Thanks to your chairman, who will be loaning me his office from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. this morning to meet with your constituents and my boss's constituents to help out with federal agency problems, to hear their concerns or thoughts about what's going on with the federal government right now. And so I'm kind of part of your resource and your connection to the congressman here for the residents and constituents who may want to meet with me at 10 or any other month. I usually come here during one of the board meetings, and it's always 10 o'clock, and it's always Supervisor Rotifer's office. And that's all I came to say today. Welcome aboard to the new members. I look forward to getting to know you better. Thank you.
Thank you, and say hello to the congressman for us.
Morning, Board. Bill Pooley, Sheriff. As you know, the Sheriff's Office often holds Coffee with a Cop. It's been a great success. However, we got a letter from 11-year-old Jessica that said, hey, we don't drink coffee as kids. How about doing a cocoa with a cop? So we took her up on her offer, and this next Monday at Schnucks at 8:30, we're going to have cocoa with a cop. So if you have children, bring them out, and they get to know us. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Good morning. Kim McFarland, Assistant Director, Public Works. We thought we'd take this opportunity to introduce our new road superintendent, Mike Cognetti. And Mike has been leading our East Road Division for the last 5 years and has 23 years in the private sector prior to that with road and construction. And we're really happy to have him on board.
Nice to meet you all. I look forward to working with everybody and getting to know you guys. And if you have anything you need from me, go through my boss, and she'll let me know.
It's
Welcome.
welcome aboard. Congratulations on your new position, and I'm sure that there's not a whole lot of work for you out there, right? I think there's plenty to keep you busy.
Yes,
Thank you very much, and thank the road crews for everything that they do.
I certainly will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Another update, Tanya Allen, Engineering Manager for the CRA. Just to let you know and the public know, we are at the final stretch of our Fifth Avenue Signal project. It's pretty much substantially complete, and we will be energizing that signal on Wednesday the 23rd. So be prepared for that, and we will put in additional CMS signs to prepare those people for those stoplight signal. Okay.
Thanks, Tanya. Thank you, everybody that's on the project.
Yes.
Good morning. So Monday is Martin Luther King's birthday, and it's a holiday, so it was designed not to be a day off, but to be a day on, and for people to spend that time they were not at work doing some community service and helping others that are less fortunate than them. So this week, or next week on next Monday in Sacramento, they're doing a program called Walk With Me. So I thought that might be a good idea here. So the point is you invite someone of another race, of another cultural background, of another religion, and get to know them a little bit better. But we seem to have an absence of civility in our community at times. So I thought perhaps we should invite someone with whom we have a little bit of a difference of opinion and maybe not discuss our opinions, but get to know people a little bit better. So I was willing to meet at Dragoon Gulch at 9 o'clock, but since they're doing Cocoa with the Cop, I guess I could make it 10 o'clock. And I would like to invite H. Randolph Holder, Dr. Mark Miller, or Mike Holland to come and walk with me. And I have some suggestions for some other people. So Sherry Brennan could invite Mike Legamosino from the city. Lynn Riddle could invite the guy who writes under Yosemite One. Ryan Campbell, I suggest you invite Nancy Ayala. Anaya Kirk, Jeff Muzio. Carl Rodefer, Pixie Bowles. John Gray, Tim Miller. Evan Royce, maybe a member of the arts community. Dave Teeney and Ken Perkins. Connie Williams and Elena Linehan. Mark Plummer and Jeanette Lambert, or someone else who provides some homeless service. Dominic Torquia and Ray Villarta. And to the man who spoke second, I suggest you call someone from Waste Management and walk from them because they can donate some dumpsters. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, I'm going to close the public comment period. Oh, I'm sorry. Please, come on up. I didn't see you.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Salazar. I submitted a letter to each member of this board regarding changes at the Enrichment Center and the importance of peer support. I discussed ethical and financial issues. Today, I'll focus on the denial of mental health patients' rights according to the Welfare and Institutions Code and Title IX of the California Code of Regulations. To save time, I'll refrain from referencing specific sections. It is stated that the following rights apply to all people with mental illness, and the legislator finds and declares as follows. Persons with mental illness are vulnerable to abuse, neglect, and unreasonable and unlawful deprivation of their rights. The Mental Health Service Act annual update states that public announcements had been made to notify stakeholders and community of public review via outlets, including the Enrichment Center. But I am aware of major efforts that were put forth from employees of mental health to conceal this information and to forbid Enrichment Center staff from informing the community. However, laws protect whistleblowers from informing the public about issues regarding public policy. Mental health laws grant patients rights to view information regarding public policies, how to file a grievance, how to contact patients' right advocates, and information on public meetings within community centers. Several members of the Enrichment Center community have begun advocating. I hung signs encouraging people to speak up and attend public meetings before the EC closed one afternoon. The next morning, the signs were gone. Staff were accused of writing the statements and forbidden to hang signs regarding this issues inside or outside of the Enrichment Center. At the board meeting, a motion was made and agreed upon to further investigate issues regarding the Enrichment Center. But Michael Wilson told a member of the community that this is a dead issue. I am very suspicious of a mental health director who would not encourage self-advocacy, but rather try to discourage, quote, persons with mental illness who are vulnerable to abuse, neglect, and unreasonable and unlawful deprivation of their rights. I requested information about the patient's right advocate. I received a response from Michael Wilson with no contact information, but a statement that he had to verify information first. People are fearful to come forward. I too feel intimidated. This statement and my letter is my official grievance. My rights as a person with mental illness guarantee an investigation and follow-up statement regarding matters related to this investigation and or the resolution of this grievance. A thorough investigation will show evidence that laws have been broken, efforts have been made to conceal information, and that these actions are denying the rights of the mentally ill. Laws guarantee patients the right to have access to community centers that provide peer support. How is this right being fulfilled if the position of lead peer peer coordinator has been eliminated. The mental health
Ma'am,
service.
ma'am,
Yes.
you've exceeded your time quite a bit. I would refer you to Ms. Riggs, our CAO, and Tracy, you're cleared off if you want to talk to her right now, so she doesn't have to stay around. Sorry to cut you off, but we have to limit our time. Thank you very much.
Just quickly, I'm also from the Enrichment Center, and I was thinking that it might be a great idea to turn that little hospital into apartments for both the mental health and the homeless people that come to the Enrichment Center and that are around town, and convert it so that they could just walk over to the Enrichment Center and get help. And also, they've cut some wages of the peer support people and other people in the Enrichment Center, and we are lacking in some of our courses and stuff. So thank you.
Thank you, and thank you. Before I proceed, I need board concurrence that we can exceed our 15 minutes. Are we okay? Okay. Sir, please.
Thank you for your time. My name is Charles LeCamp. I go by Chuck. The reason what I'd like to address the board about is an issue I think is very important to Tuolumne County. I have been exploring how we can create more housing quickly in the county. I have a project in the mill right now that will help with some condominiums. One of the things that we really need to do with this county is make it more attractive to other areas. That is, invite people who can find jobs. One easy way to add jobs to this area is telecommunication. We have 3 phone companies here who have no long-term cable, no direct cable, there's a word for it and I'm forgetting it, fiber optic lines. But we do have quite a bit of fiber optic lines in the county. What we need is perhaps with your group pressure, perhaps we can encourage either AT&T, Verizon, or T-Mobile to help with getting a fiber optic trunk line up here, which would make us very attractive as a housing location for Silicon Valley types. Average wages for those people is $150,000 annually plus. They can afford to live here and enjoy the kind of life we have. Thank you very much. I hope you'll consider this idea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other public comment? Okay, since I rushed last time, going once, going twice, going 3 times. Okay, closing public comment. Would the clerk of the board please read our consent calendar?
Minutes of the meeting held on December 17th, 18th, January 3rd, and January 7th. And item number 2 has been pulled off the agenda. Approving the first amendment to the Tuolumne County Economic Development Authority Joint Powers Agreement, reducing the notice of unilateral withdrawal from the 180 days to 120 days. Adopting the resolution authorizing the county tax collector to conduct a public auction of tax defaulted properties. Adopting a resolution continuing the local state of emergency as required by California Emergency Services Act, Article 14, Section 8630C, due to pervasive tree mortality. Amending the 2017 through 2020 Memorandum of Understanding for the Executive Confidential Compensation Plan. Approving the assistant to the department head class specification, establishment of a pay range and assignment to bargaining unit. Approving a request to modify the staffing in the Emergency Communication Center contained in the current fire cooperative agreement with CAL FIRE. approving a notice of completion for the Tuolumne Park and Ride Facility Project and increasing appropriations to Road Construction Capital Fund Tuolumne Park and Ride line by $32,846 and increasing revenues in the same amount, and that requires a 4/5 vote. Approving the amendment number 2 to the agreement for professional services with RMC Geoscience, Inc. for landfill oversight and a budget adjustment from contingencies in the amount of $213,481, and that's a 4/5 vote also. Approving the standard agreement for professional services with MGE Engineering, Inc. for services associated with the design of the bridge and road for the Old Wards Ferry Road Crossing Curtis Creek Bridge Replacement Project. Accepting the resignation of Lucy Morris from the Tuolumne County Commission on Aging and directing the clerk to send a letter of appreciation and post a notice of vacancy. Approving the appointment of Kathy Parker and Annie Hawks as commissioners for the first 5 Tuolumne County Commission, and as the Air Pollution Control District, adopting a resolution authorizing the Tuolumne County Air Pollution Control District to participate in the Carl Moore Air Quality Standard Attainment Program for 2018-19 with the California Air Resources Board.
Okay, does any supervisor wish to pull any of the items off the consent calendar?
I have number 7 and 11 I want to make a comment on.
Okay, we'll pull 7 and 11. Okay, is there any public comment on the consent calendar other than 7 and 11?
I would like someone to explain number 10 to me.
Kim?
So number 10 is just extending our contract with RMC Geoscience. We actually have had a contract with them for a few years. This is to continue the monitoring and the post-closure activities for the 2 landfills, Big Oak Flat and Jamestown. And the contingency is to cover the additional remediation work that we'll have to do at Big Oak Flat as per the Water Board.
Thank you. Does that satisfy the public? Thank you. Any other public comment or questions on the consent calendar? Okay, I will bring it back for a motion minus 7 and 11.
Move on.
Okay.
On consent calendar, minus 7 and 11.
Okay, I've got a motion by Supervisor Gray. I assume that's a
Second.
Second? Okay, a second by Supervisor Brennan. You got to go quicker there, Sherry. Any board comments before we vote? Okay, all those in favor of the consent calendar minus 7-11 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? That passes 5-0. Would the clerk please read item number 7?
This is consideration of approving the assistant to the department head class specification establishment and the pay range and assignment to bargaining unit.
Supervisor Kirk, do you have a specific question?
Yeah. Get my notes open. So, with this position, does this have to do with number 18 on the agenda with the department head? Is this an assistant to that position, or is this
No.
several positions or one position?
Ann Fremd, this can be an assistant to any department head.
Okay.
So not necessarily for 18. He could at some point, assuming it goes through the proper budget and the position allocation and your board approves that position. But at this point, this would be for a couple other departments, the General Services, the Community Resources Agency will do an immediate recruitment for a position there because he already has a position allocated for this.
Okay.
And he needs to get that position
So the
filled.
position's been allocated for, and this is specifically for CRA?
This is specifically for any department head,
Any
so it's a
department
county-wide position.
And it's one, or is
It's-
it several?
It depends. It could be every department that has a department head could request. It doesn't mean your board will approve a position. It doesn't mean the budget will sustain it.
Okay.
But any department that requires one of these can ask for it.
Okay, but today's motion to approve it is for that one position?
That's the only position we have currently open,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Any public comment? Bring it back to the board.
Move on staff recommendation.
Okay. Do I have a second? Second. Okay, Supervisor Brennan moved and Supervisor Gray seconded. Any other comments by the board, questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained? 5-0 on item number 7. Would the clerk please read item number 11?
Consideration of approving a standard agreement for professional services with MGE Engineering Inc. for services associated with the design of the bridge and roadway for the Old Wards Ferry Crossing Curtis Creek Bridge Replacement Project.
Supervisor Kirk, did you have a specific question?
Yeah, just reading through it, I see that it's budgeted for by outside sources, it's paid for. But just from hearing the last go around with that landslide that happened last year, is this does this work have a guarantee to it? Do these contracts have guarantees of the work they provide?
So the county is actually administering this project. Yes, we do include our warranty, a year warranty in our contracts.
Okay. So the county is administering it because I saw the funding was from outside sources?
Correct. I believe this is under the Highway Bridge Program.
Right.
It is a federally funded program in which we work with Caltrans and local assistance as our liaison to FHWA. And the county will be administering this project, so we have control of how we are going to do it.
We will be doing the work. Okay, thank you.
Okay, any public comment on item number 11? Any additional questions or comments from the board? Looking for a motion?
So moved.
Okay, Supervisor Gray moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
I got a second by Supervisor Campbell. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained? 5-0 on 11. The clerk please read item number 15.
This is a presentation of County Service Award to Robert Johnson from the Department of Information Technology.
Morning, Daniel Richardson, today representing Information Technology. Today we have the privilege of honoring, Bob Johnson, one of our stalwart IT, our network supervisor over there. Let me give you a brief overview of Bob Johnson and his employment history here with Tuolumne County. He began actually in 1997. That would make it 22 years. But he was a relief employee, a relief systems analyst, and we hired him in January of 1999 as a permanent systems analyst and network programmer. At that time, he was an analyst for the Social Services Department, and in 1999, he joined the networks team. And that's where he's resided since that time in the performing networks duties. And in December of 2016, he was promoted to the IT supervisor over networks. A little bit about Bob. He is a local boy. He's been here for a long time. Grew up in Phoenix Lake, I understand. He's a graduate of Sonora High School and also a graduate from Cal State Stanislaus with a bachelor's in computer science. So he's in the appropriate field. Bob can be trusted. He has an impeccable character. He has a great sense of humor. He's a great team member. You can count on Bob getting the job done. And what I love about Bob, he really cares. When we ask him to do something, he understands the importance of getting it done. He is the brains and the brawn behind. Right now we're doing the network upgrade. That is Bob Johnson and his team. I'm grateful to be able to work with Bob. He is a talented, excellent work ethic, and affable guy, and I'm grateful he's been with us for 20 years. Congratulations, Bob.
Okay, thank you very much. I'd like to share my appreciation with Barry Jacobs, who I've been working with for over 20 years. With my team, Ted Rito, Matt Van Arsdale, and Joe Fernandez, and with everybody at IT. They're very hard-working, dedicated people, and I'd like to thank you very much for the appreciation.
Don't go away.
Okay.
20 minutes, yeah. 20 years of service is an incredible milestone, and I really want to thank you for everything that you do. This board really appreciates our entire staff a lot and everything that they do for us, but we have a special appreciation for people that hit certain milestones, and I just want to thank you for everything that you've done for this county for 20 years. And congratulations on achieving the milestone.
Thank you very much.
You know, the world stops when IT stops.
Well said.
We all know that, so I certainly appreciate the work that you and your staff do. They're responsive and always been helpful for me, so thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll just
It is indeed a special time when one of our employees reaches one of those milestones. Thank you. Would the clerk please read item number 16?
Consideration of waiving an irregularity in American Pavement Systems bid and awarding the contract to American Pavement Systems, Inc. to perform the work as shown in the plans and specifications on the Highway 120 detour maintenance project.
Good morning, Chair, members of the board. I'm Blossom Scott Heim, Associate Engineer with the Community Resources Agency and Project Manager for the Highway 120 Detour Maintenance Project. The project will construct 9.64 miles of asphalt rubberized chip seal on Jacksonville Road and portions of Algerine Road, Campo Seco Road, and Seco Street. The project is funded by a combination of Caltrans Detour funds, excuse me, Road Maintenance and Rehabilitation Account Funds, or SB1, and a Cal Recycle recycled asphalt pavement grant. Bids were due on November 1st, 2018, and 3 bids were received. American Pavement Systems, Inc. is the apparent low bidder at $747,216.35 for the base bid. County Council has reviewed the bid submitted by American Pavement Systems and has determined that the bid contains an irregularity. In the APS bid, the contractor's license number for the listed subcontractor, Crisp Company, is off by 1 digit. But the bid correctly lists the company name, DIR registration, and address. Should your board desire to award this contract to APS, your board must waive the irregularity related to the APS bid. Additionally, the bid contains a mathematical error in the total cost. The unit cost and total amount for each bid item are correct, but the total bid cost is incorrect. As set forth in the county's bid documents, the amount of the bid for comparison purposes will be the total of all items. For the APS bid, the total is $747,216.35. With this adjustment, APS remains the low bidder. This is not an irregularity that must be waived. It is recommended that your board, 1, waive the irregularity in the American Pavement Systems, Inc. bid, and 2, award the contract in the amount of $747,216.35 to American Pavement Systems, Inc. to perform the work as shown in the plans, specifications, and bid book for contract number 1716, Highway 120 Detour Maintenance Project.
So are there any board questions or comments?
Yeah, I just wanted to, so this is going to be treating approximately 9.6 total miles of roadway?
Correct.
And I have the cost at approximately $77,500 per mile?
That's correct, for construction only.
Is that pretty consistent with what construction costs of this nature would be?
That is. For chip seal, it's significantly less than a reconstruction or a full paving. The rubberized chip seal, you're still getting a minimum of about a 10-year life, so it's a maintenance treatment.
Yeah. And this incorporates funds from the Cal Recycle
it does. Rubberized
asphalt concrete grant?
They pay up to $1 per square yard of chip seal at the tier that we applied at. So we'll be reimbursed $1 for every square yard we put down. We estimate this will divert approximately 7,000 tires from the waste stream.
Yeah, I think it's an incredible program. I'm really excited to see that we're using funds from this program that are available. chip sealing with rubberized asphalt. It lasts longer, and then you have that, of course, the benefit that you're removing tires that would otherwise be put into landfills, and you're using them to resurface the roadway. And it also makes the road quieter, so you can't hear cars as much as they drive by. So it's better for residents in that area.
Supervisor Gray.
Thank you.
Most important thing is I drive that road almost every day. And I would really
Can you put some bumps in it?
but that's what I'm going to address, and I know staff knows this, but I'm always trying to be proactive in looking at some of these things. Is that we did some dig outs and getting ready for this, and we've done the crack sealing and everything. But since that time, there has, and I know you know this, there's been some additional settling and things that need to be addressed before we actually put down the chip, in my opinion. But my opinion only holds this much. So I just ask that you take a really good hard look at those areas and make sure that we've done all the dig outs that need to be done.
Agreed, and we do still have a little bit of preparatory work to do. As you said, stuff that's happened since the other work.
Thank you.
Supervisor Brennan.
Yeah, when I was looking at this, I was trying to figure out, we talk about the need to get improved shoulders and or possible bike pedestrian pieces on this, start incorporating that into our program of work. And I couldn't find that in here, and I'm on Jacksonville Road quite a bit too and see a lot of bicyclists out there. And so my question is it incorporated and I missed it? Or are we starting to address how we can incorporate that into projects?
Being a maintenance treatment only, we don't generally incorporate those improvements. Do you have anything to add, Tanya?
Those are usually what we look at with reconstruction. There's a lot of factors that go involved. A lot of times we don't have right-of-ways, so then we have to purchase right-of-way. There's additional costs, which if you're going to focus on improving those shoulders and adding that additional bench or width in the roadway, it's more focused on a reconstruction or rehabilitation than it would just to be a preventative maintenance treatment.
So I guess I just really want us to be analyzing that as we're going forward, because we're there, and I don't want to miss an opportunity. I understand that this is just repair work, and we've had this conversation before, but I just would like us to find every opportunity to really start incorporating that when we're doing projects in an area.
Supervisor Kirk.
Just real quick, does this also include drainage work or culvert pipes while we're laying new road?
This does not. There are a few areas where some of the existing drainage has settled a bit, and we're going to incorporate some prep work into that to kind of smooth out the ride. Okay. But the project itself is just the maintenance treatment.
We also have inspected all those culverts along that roadway as part of our SB1 culvert program. So we were able to look at some of those, making sure that the inverts were in sound condition before we did any other treatments.
Okay.
And finally, I'll just add my second to Supervisor Brennan's emotion, and that is we really do need to look at complete streets projects where we can. It's going to become increasingly important, as we'll hear very shortly. But thank you very much. Any public comment?
Well, I used to jump all over Paul Avila and his CAL FIRE when he made mistakes in his paperwork. And are they getting like a Dear Numbnuts letter or something? Because when you turn in a bid, it's supposed to be precise, and you should be double-checking your work. So these sound like stupid errors that if you just double-checked it, you should have caught it. So I'd be having an issue, but...
Thank you. Any other public comment? Come on up, please, sir.
Yes, hello. Hello, good morning. My name's Paul Slemons. I'm a resident here in Tuolumne. I'm just thinking in the bid processes, when you do receive bids, who decides which one to choose? And always, not often, always, the lowest bid is not the best one. You get what you pay for, maybe choosing the middle bid. So first, who chooses? Do you vote on it? And then maybe reconsideration of which bid to choose rather than just the low bid.
Well, to answer that question, in items that come before the board, the staff recommends and the board selects.
Supervisor Rotifer, it's also a legal issue that I think if you allow Ms. Drivdahl, she can quickly explain the legal issue.
Come on up.
Deputy County Counsel Carlin Drivdahl. The Public Contract Code requires for public works projects that the county award the bid to the lowest responsible and responsive bidder. So when we're reviewing these bids, first we look at, in essence, who submitted the lowest bid. And then we look at, were they responsive? Did they meet all of the requirements that we asked for in the bid? And so that is when we're going through and checking to make sure that the numbers are correct, that they listed all of their subcontractors and things like that. So that is where we get to. And so part of what your board looks at and what's being requested here is when there are irregularities, when there is a mistake such as this issue with the subcontractor number, whether or not that is a minor irregularity, that problem did not affect who the low bidder was. So that's what you're looking for.
Yep, thank you. Any other public comment? Bring it back to the board. Looking for a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we waive the irregularity in American Pavement System Incorporated bid and to award the contract in the amount of $747,216.35 to American Pavement Systems Incorporated to perform the work as shown on the plan specifications bid book contract number 1716 Highway 120 Detour Maintenance Project.
Well said. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Motion by Supervisor Gray, second by Supervisor Brennan. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained? 5-0. Will the clerk of the board please read item number 17?
Discussion related to fire safety and community resiliency.
Okay, this one's mine. Today, I'm announcing, for lack of a better term, it's not exactly accurate, but a chairman's initiative. I'm proposing the creation of a Firewise Tuolumne County effort. I'm not claiming pride of authorship or intellectual originality on this initiative, as I believe everyone, both in government and without, across this state has been giving this a great deal of thought since the tragedy in Paradise. Both our incoming supervisors have mentioned the need to address the issue of achieving a fire-wise community in their campaigns, as well as after winning their seats on the dais. As a result of multiple local states of emergency, our efforts heretofore have been focused in the areas of forest management in our national parks and forests and addressing the disaster of tree mortalities in our communities. We must continue to work hard to resolve these issues. However, we can no longer ignore the remaining issues that are in our state responsibility area associated with vegetation densities and inadequate response infrastructure. In fact, we must, while we continue those ongoing efforts, rethink how we are approaching that work in order to converge on a common countywide, both near and longer term effort to make our county both as resistant to wildfire and as responsive to wildfire when it happens as possible. This county government cannot accomplish this massive and important task on its own. We will need additional resources, and we will need to continue trying to get those resources from the state and federal level to achieve our desired Firewise community. We will also need the active coordination, cooperation, and action by our sovereign tribal partners, our City of Sonora governmental leadership, our various fire and service districts, our fire safe councils, and our community organizations and businesses. Most of all, ladies and gentlemen, we will also need the active support and cooperation and participation from our community. Most of the land area associated with this initiative is privately owned. There will be differences of opinion on what the solution should look like and what the priorities should be. Hopefully, there will be many different ideas on how we should proceed. We need to lead in reaching out to our public and listen to their ideas. With those ideas and their concerns, we ultimately need to come to decisions and then act on them as timely as possible. In that process, we cannot ignore or be deaf to our constituents. Meaningful and effective public outreach will be critical to success every step of the way. On the other hand, unproductive public gridlock hindering progress will constitute, in and of itself, a public safety hazard. We must all agree that the status quo is unacceptable and that we must make timely progress or we will be home to a future paradise disaster, pure and simple. While county government cannot do it all, we must lead. The public expects that, and the public, after effective public engagement, must support us in that effort. There will be much to think about, much to listen to, and much to do, but I believe as a minimum, to be effective, this effort must address at least two things simultaneously. First, we have a near-term threat that is a result of the current confluence of vegetation and population densities and our imperfect existing response infrastructure, mostly roads. Prior to this next fire season, we must ensure our response planning is current and as comprehensive and effective as possible. We must ensure that our entire population understands what that planning is and what their role in its execution is expected to be. Very simply, when the emergency command authorities declare an evacuation, that is not the time to have a discussion about why or how. That is the time to get out and get out now. We need to help ensure, and you, the public, need to know how to do that and where to go. We also must address what near-term improvements we can make now with the resources that we have to improve our ingress and egress infrastructure, especially in our communities with limited access. The second thing our effort must address is what should our vegetation landscape look like and what longer-term improvements in our ingress and egress and firewise infrastructure need to be. We must determine how we work to achieve that landscape and those improvements. As I hope our citizens and constituents can see, achieving a firewise Tuolumne County will be a multidimensional and a multifaceted effort. It will require a vast coordination of efforts across multi-dimensions of public services and private efforts. It will require the use of every possible intellectual and physical resource, including active engagement, active cooperation, and support of virtually every level of government. Every department of county government, all our jurisdictional partners, private businesses, community groups, and most importantly, our private citizens and property owners. This effort will require strong and active leadership. To that end, I have asked Vice Chairman and Supervisor Sherry Brennan, and she has agreed to represent this board in leading this essential effort. It is my expectation that every member of this board is both critically interested and strongly desires to actively participate in that leadership process as well. To that end, there are issues yet to be worked out with regards to Brown Act compliance as to how that can work appropriately, and I have asked that one of our annual workshop discussions be to define how that oversight can work. Ladies and gentlemen, we must act and we must start that process now. We can't do it without you. Please help us make Tuolumne County a firewise community. And I would entertain any comments, discussion, or whatever is the board's feeling that we discuss it amongst ourselves and then do public comment, or do you want to hear from the public first?
I'm prepared to make a couple comments right now.
Okay, go.
I think you did a very good job of laying out the issues and the problems and all the things that are associated with making us safer. One of the concerns that I have and we've three of us have experienced some fires. And one of the things that is noticeable is that you wait a year and then you try to do something, you don't get the public support. And I think with what happened at Paradise, it's important that we start now. We get this thing going, because we will experience the same thing eventually if we continue to address what we have, the problems we have, the way that we've done in the past. So I think it's a good initiative. I'm fully supportive of it, and it's my comments.
Any other board comments before I go to the public? Absolutely. You go ahead.
Just would add that, and thank you for those comprehensive comments, Supervisor Rutherford. I think you captured the scope and magnitude of this problem, and certainly the urgency associated with it. We have to recognize that there are going to be pieces that we're going to be able to implement and start working on immediately, and then also recognize that we have decades of creating this problem. And so some of these pieces are going to be longer term. We are going to need the engagement of every partner that is out there, because this, as you stated in your remarks, this is multifaceted, very complicated, and we are going to need a level of engagement from our public that we haven't seen historically. And so I look forward to chairing this committee, and look forward to what I believe is going to be a very, very robust effort from both county government, agencies, departments, and the public.
Anything you want to go out to the public?
Sure, I'll just make the comments now. So for me, moving forward, and I'm sure we're going to have lots of discussions about this, but, I used to be on a SWAT team, and some of the training was we have to KISS. We have to keep it simple, stupid, because we have, I believe, we could have a campfire kickoff this summer. And so if we spend, like he said, all our time talking, but don't take any simple actions now, it's going to bite us in the butt later. So for me, moving forward as a board member, I really want to keep this simple, keep it focused, and actually accomplish if you get some things done prior to the fire season coming up. So for me, the number one thing, emergency evacuation. And then it's going to go into fire prevention, wildfire response, post-fire recovery. But right now, the loss of life needs to be the forefront. So moving forward, my number one thing as a board member coming into the fire season is making sure that we notify people and that people have safe egress routes to get in and out. I think that's where we can start off and get the most bang for our buck and bang for our time. This is, like Sherry said, this is 50, 60 years of forest mismanagement. I'm glad Governor Newsom, up the $200 million to $312 million, I believe, for some projects, but you can't fix a forest in a season. You can't fix it in a few seasons. My guess is it's going to take a decade to try and undo what's been done. So I'm looking forward to, like I said, I'm going to continue to remind this board and hopefully the community, we have to have a simple, tangible plan. And we need to get running on it now and not spend a bunch of time mitigating and litigating, but actually get some things happening to make our communities safe for this June, July, August season. So, thank you.
Real quickly, I do not want to negate the work and efforts of organizations in the county like SWIFT, the Highway 108 Fire Safe Council, the volunteers that have been working this with the resources that they've had available to them. We all know that we're going to see a step up in the magnitude of availability and how we do this in a very, very strategic way to get the maximum amount of work done. But again, I really want at this time thank those partners and make sure that they understand that they are going to be a tremendous piece in this effort also.
So I believe what we're talking about is establishing fire safe communities through the National Fire Protection Association.
Through any means we can.
Well, there's a program called Firewise Community.
Understand.
And it's a fantastic program because what it does is it establishes set guidelines that are proven to be effective at reducing fire risk in communities. It It helps establish standards for defensible space clearing that exceed what the minimums are, which I think we need in a lot of areas. It builds community involvement, which, you know, I think everybody realizes that this is something that we all have to be aware of and engaged in. And there are some ancillary benefits that I think are going to come of this, and some of those being that it makes it easier for us to keep and maintain insurance for individual homeowners if you live in a Firewise community. In addition to that, the county itself as an organization has benefits in seeking grants for future efforts related to fire safety at the state and federal level. So I'm really in favor of us going this direction, and I have you have my full support.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open it up to the public.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Name's Aaron Rasmussen. Many of you know me, but I recent graduate over at Columbia College, Natural Resources, Forestry. And I hear a lot of talk up here about roads and just like a lot of dream words. It really takes people and hard work trimming out the forest. Please, I implore you to check out the Natural Resources program out in Columbia. They have many areas where students have cleared acres by themselves and clear cut and have done massive burning controls. I see Tuolumne County fires here. I see CAL fires here. A lot of the students come out of there as well. But I'm here to tell you, not as many of the students on the fire side of the house actually put fire on the ground and do the work that you're talking about. It's the forestry and natural resources students. So going forward, that really needs to be a part of this process. You're going to have to spend money to hire people, massive amounts of people, to start doing the work. You can fix all the roads you want, but and traffic time during Sonora, and no one can get from one end to the other, and just normal day-to-day business. When we have a fire, at that point, you can only do so much. It's really the grounds on work, hard work, getting the forest cleaned up and cleared. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I think it would be important for each of you to go into your districts and have like a town hall meeting, because I haven't seen that, I think, since Terry Murrison was the chair, and every meeting I was at had 100+ people. And yesterday someone was talking about a program called CERT, which is some sort of citizens emergency, and how the seniors want to activate a program like that. And I know at another conversation there was issues with that your local fire station or your local law enforcement team needs to know who in a household is not unable to evacuate themselves safely. So if you have someone in your home that you know you will need assistance, when they're coming to evacuate, that's not the time. So you need to let, I don't know who you want, whether you want your local fire station or your local sheriff or your local whatever, to know who would have difficulty evacuating in an emergency, so that there's a current and updated list available.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Ron Ringen. I'm a concerned Tuolumne County resident. In January of 2016, the information and pictures in this binder at a breakfast meeting with Randy Jorgensen and Michael Pickard from Sierra Nevada Conservancy got them to thinking, and about a month later approached the, at that time, new general manager of TUD, Tom Hagelin, and asked if TUD would be interested in a $500,000 grant to thin the trees and brush along the flume, which is owned by PG&E. And of course, the answer to that was yes. So that work is ongoing right now. It's a good start. But back in 2008, Glenn Gottschall and a consulting firm called Stantec put together a study of what would happen if the flume were to get burned up. And it's in the canyon, South Fork Stanislaus Canyon, which has not had a fire in it of any type, size, in a decade. No, not a decade, in a century, over a century. So they came up with the fact that if the flume were to burn up, it would take, and I don't know what would happen now that PG&E is talking about going into bankruptcy, but would take 550 days to replace that flume. This is all documented, by the way, in a piece that they put out. In the meantime, TUD would be faced with trying to provide water to the community, and about the only way that anybody's come up with any kind of idea is to run pipeline from Lyons down the old railroad grate. The only problem with that is that not only would it be horribly expensive, I'm talking a couple, $3 million or more, but each hookup would only be allowed about 20 gallons of water a day. You know what that would do to the community, the business community, and so on. For probably getting close to, I don't know, 8 years now, I have been pounding on the table that we need to put in fire water draft points along the ditch system, resurrect all the stock ponds, store water anywhere and everywhere that we can so that our firefighters will have easy access to water. As many times as I've brought it up to both the Tuolumne County Natural Resource Committee, the Tuolumne County Water Agency Policy Advisory Committee, and to this board, we don't seem to be able to make any progress on it. Twain Harte Community Services District has partnered with TUD and have located some areas up the hill that would be ideal for this, but nothing can move forward, and TUD can't do anything about it because we're not in the firefighting business, and it would be a total misuse of ratepayer money if we attempted to do it. So I am urging that we move forward on fire water draft points ASAP. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask Ron a question real quick? Can I ask Ron, can I ask you a question? Draft points along the flume, I grew up playing by the flume. If the flume's in very inaccessible parts of the canyon, I guess if there was a fire and there was an access point, just off the top of my head, what good would it do to actually get to that spot?
Yeah, I'm not talking about fire water draft points along the flume. I'm talking about along the ditch system.
Along the ditch system.
Throughout the county.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, and just this is an example of why this is going to be a very broad effort. This conversation with stock ponds, that would be a conversation that we need to talk to with the State Water Board, because State Water Board has actually in the last 2 years implemented some regulation on stock ponds, and that's why we have seen a tremendous decrease, because it costs, typically those are on ranches, costs upwards of $100,000 to do the monitoring associated with that. That is an area where we need to be having these conversations at the state level with CSAC, RCRC. It's an example of what will be the very concentrated effort to deal with that these issues, and what a lot of regulation unintended consequences have been that we have had in the last decade.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Okay. This is a discussion item only, not an action item. So any other comments from the board before we move on to the next agenda item? Okay. Would the clerk please read item 18?
Consideration of approving an employment agreement with Daniel Richardson to serve as a General Services Director.
Good morning, Tracy Riggs, County Administrator's Office. So it's with great excitement that we bring this item before your board today. As your board is aware, during the recession, one of the ways that we were able to reduce costs was to eliminate department head positions. And for those departments that their department head was eliminated, the oversight for those programs and that staff was brought into the County Administrator's Office. Having been a department head and also in the County Administrator's Office, I will tell you we're not good department heads. We don't have the time to give the staff that they really need to have dedicated to them. So part of the reorganization that I have requested to your board is to move those positions back out of the County Administrator's Office. And in order to do that, what I had recommended was the elimination of a Deputy County Administrator and the creation of a General Services Director. On December 4th, your board approved that class specification, and on January 3rd, you held interviews with the 2 internal incumbents. As a result, you had a unanimous decision, and your selection was Daniel Richardson. Daniel has been with Tuolumne County for 21 years. He has had oversight on many, many different programs, projects, and departments. Some of those include those that he will be taking oversight should your board approve that contract today. That is information technology, facilities management, recreation, airports, library, capital, and purchasing. In addition to that, he also oversees all of our real estate transactions. He helped with the purchase of Kennedy Meadows. He also facilitated the process for 3 bond purchases. And overall, anything that is ever requested of Daniel, he does it in a professional, proactive, very positive manner. And we look forward to working with Daniel in his new capacity. Should your board approve this contract, Daniel would be compensated at range 579, step C, which is equivalent to a base pay of $138,112. And he would also be subject and would have benefits as outlined in the Executive Confidential Compensation Plan. And I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Okay. You have anything, Anaya?
Just to clarify, so we're making him a department head and we're deleting the position that he's leaving?
Correct.
Basically renaming it, so there won't be an additional position created behind it.
Correct. And this is just to make sure everyone realizes this is more than renaming. Right now, the deputy CAO serves in the county administrator's office. The new position is a board appointed and serves at the will of the board. And so it is completely different. And he has a contract with a 5-year term.
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with it as long as we're not creating and.
Supervisor Gray?
We just need to know whether he wants the job or not.
He's sitting here.
We got to have him come up here and talk a little bit about it.
Thank you, Daniel Richardson. After 21 years moving from the CAO's office, the comfy confines of this family that we are in the CAO's office is going to be a change. I'm excited, I'm humbled, and I'm grateful. I look forward to this. Looking at this new agency, it's 42 employees that are full-time, but in the summertime, it doubles the size of that with all the lifeguards and summer recreation staff that we hire. It's you get big bang for the buck in terms of the amount of community engagement that occurs from the employees from this agency, both internal to the service of the employees within Tuolumne County, as well as to the citizens of Tuolumne County, through the veterans, through library, through recreation, through the airport, and then through internal facilities and purchasing. I look forward to this, look forward to a team effort. Obviously, I can't do it by myself. I have a great group of employees that I look forward to working closely with during this time. So, yes, I'm excited for this opportunity.
That was an acceptance speech, I think.
There you go. There you go. I'm up for the job.
Ryan,
So I have the advantage of having seen you work and worked with you in various capacities over the past 4 or 5 years, and I think you're going to be great. I've found you to be take your work very seriously, and you've applied a lot of intelligence and community concern to everything you do. So I'm looking forward to seeing good things.
Thanks, Ryan.
Is that a motion?
Was that a motion?
Yeah, I move that we approve employment agreement with Daniel Richardson to serve as General Services Director.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by, I'll get there. We have a motion by Supervisor Ryan Campbell and a second by Supervisor John Gray. And with that, I will ask for public comment. Don't go too far, Daniel. We want you within range of spears.
I don't have spears.
I'm just kidding.
I've already talked to him, but I want a public assurance that we're going to do something about the toilet seat covers that are so cheap and tacky that you get half of one or a third of a one. So instead of using one, you need three. And then the toilet paper that comes out one sheet at a time. So I want those things fixed so that we can properly use the restroom facilities without cursing a blue streak.
There's an old saying about wants. But I understand it. Okay. I'm sure Daniel does as well. Okay, any other public comment? Okay, bring it back to the board for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Congratulations, Daniel. You sure you want it, huh? Okay. Would the clerk please read item 19? Yeah.
This is a presentation on the Southwest Interface Team accomplishments and 2019-20 program of work.
Let's take a 10-minute break so you can set that up, okay? And I'm going to take breaks on time as chairman if my colleagues will promise me to be back on time. So we're going to come back at 10:20. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and reconvene the Board of Supervisors meeting. Could the clerk of the board please read item number 19?
This is a presentation on the Southwest Interface Team accomplishments and the 2019-20 program of work.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board, and new members, Supervisor Kirk and Campbell. Good morning. Liz Peterson, County Administrator's Office. I am here. I just want to kind of set up Alan Johnson with SWIFT, tell you a little bit about SWIFT, who they are, what they do. SWIFT is SWIFT is the acronym for the Southwest Interface Team, which was formed in 1999 as a collaborative partnership of multiple agencies. As you see there in the memo that I wrote for you, the mission of SWIFT is to cooperatively plan for, implement, and maintain a strategic fire defense system. The system is designed to reduce the threat of loss to life, property, and natural resources from wildfires. And this is specifically, the Southwest Interface Team is specifically in the areas of the southern Tuolumne County and northern Mariposa counties. The group was specifically designed in the area because there is a large history of wildfire in that area, and the team in 1999 got together under the previous coordinator and said, we have to figure out what we can do to be more strategic about preserving the area of being strategic to ensure no loss of life, most importantly. Okay, so currently, SWIFT participants include Tuolumne and Mariposa counties, Stanislaus National Forest, Yosemite National Park, Bureau of Land Management, CAL FIRE, Pine Mountain Lake Association, the City and County of San Francisco at Hetch Hetchy Water and Power, Tuolumne and Mariposa County Fire Departments, the Fire Safe Councils, and Sierra Nevada Conservancy also is generally there in the meetings. We meet monthly, and we, under the coordination of Alan here, we discuss projects that are going on in the area, issues that are happening. We had lots of discussion over the past couple years about tree mortality projects that were taking place in both counties. Really, the goal is to work in a coordinated effort to ensure that we are improving the safety of the area of the southern Tuolumne County and northern Mariposa County areas. Alan Johnson is here, and he's going to discuss specifically the projects that have taken place over the last couple years and then discuss the program of work moving forward. Alan, as you see in the memo, is retired from he's the former Groveland Ranger District Fire Manager for the Stanislaus National Forest. The coordinator before him who developed the group also was in that same position. So Alan has a ton of expertise that he brings to the group. He leads the group well. He coordinates letters of support for various grants that projects or that members may want to participate in. He just does a great job of bringing the team together and, again, coordinating the efforts so that we're all being strategic about the projects that we complete. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Alan here. And,
Good morning, Supervisors. Alan Johnson, SWIFT Coordinator. First of all, I'd like to start off by thanking the board for both the current and past members of supporting the SWIFT organization since its inception. Back in December of 1999, the board back then actually passed a resolution supporting SWIFT and its efforts in the southern part of Tuolumne County and northern part of Mariposa County. So I'd like to start off with Supervisor Gray asked me to come do the presentation here, and since we have several new supervisors, I brought the PowerPoint along that was initiated by Tom James back in his tenure with some updates, including as late as 10:30 last night as I was trying to prep for the meeting. So I'll let the PowerPoint play. It self-advances, and then I'll go through some of the information on SWIFT and what we're doing in the southern part of the county. So with that.
Mm-hmm.
impressive picture.
So, as you can see, over the past 20 years, SWIFT has been pretty busy in the South County trying to do things to protect the communities at risk. It's been a coordinated effort with all the partners, state, local. The fire safe councils are actively engaged, and just an excellent working relationship between all the cooperators that you saw listed there. And the one slide, we're talking about almost 750,000 acres of land in and around the Southwest Interface Project area that have burned over the last 30 years. So it definitely takes the brunt of the fire activity in the area. So, as I mentioned, back in 1999, Tom James developed the SWIFT project area and initiated the team. Then in 2012, Tom decided to finally call it quits and officially retire after 30-plus years Forest Service career and then an additional 10 years plus as the SWIFT coordinator. I took over SWIFT in 2012 as the coordinator under professional services contract supported by the county. So some of the primary responsibilities are to facilitate the meetings. We do hold a monthly meeting as feasible. Sometimes in fire season with the commitments of our team members, we end up canceling. But I'd be remiss if I didn't mention City and County of San Francisco, Hetch Hetchy Water and Power for providing us a facility to meet for our monthly meetings. It's fairly central so that nobody's having to travel too much of a distance to make the meetings. One of my main roles is keeping the group informed and being a conduit of information sharing back and forth between the various group members. I also track all the accomplishments that the group does, and you have a current copy that's slightly more up to date than what you received in your briefing package. So this is the most current stuff as of last night. I also end up drafting letters of support, running them by the group, oftentimes for grants that are being applied for by the various agencies and the Fire Safe Council. And this is pretty important because it goes under our letterhead with the collaborative group effort. Most of those grantors are looking to see that projects are supported in a collaborative manner. So it's very important when we provide these letters of support, and have helped greatly in the success of the agencies and the fire safe councils in achieving the grants that they are applying for. I also gather and update the shape files for the map that you have in your briefing package. The details not very good in the briefing package, but when you're looking at it on a computer, it's very detailed, shows all of our strategic fuel breaks, water sources, communities, structures, all the key information that firefighters need when they're coming into the area to quickly orient themselves. And it played a key role. The first test for us was during the Detweiler fire. And during that fire, I also got called up to help support and identify some contingency lines should the fire continue to progress north towards Tuolumne County, and help find some of those lines out there in the Mariposa County to go with some of the direct tactics and suppression efforts there. So the map came out really well because we were able to share it with some of the incoming resources that were not familiar with what was in place, what was out ahead of them as things happened, like the fire moving across Highway 49 into that Greeley Hill, Coulterville area. And a lot of those fuel breaks played a key role in the ability for them to contain the fire. So it was also one of the key things in the last couple of years after the rim fire and the declaration, the emergency declaration, and then the NDRC. I was asked to provide some input on some strategic fuel breaks that we might be able to work on to make some of those communities, i.e. Groveland, Big Oak Flat, more resilient. So I worked with CAL FIRE folks, and we identified Wagner Ridge rim truck fuel breaks as some of those, and both of those got accepted by the NDRC and are in the process of right now getting the permissions from the landowner, working on the CEQA, and hopefully getting all that implemented before the money runs out with the NDRC. And I think we all know that some of the frustrations that have been going along with that. So I also coordinate with the fire safe councils. Oftentimes get asked to provide input on viability of some of the projects that they're looking at. We bring it to the group and discuss it, and then make recommendations to pursue those projects or whatever changes we might need to do. With all the fires that have occurred in and around the southern part of Tuolumne County, oftentimes you hear people talking about that, we dodged a bullet with the rim fire. We dodged a bullet with the Detweiler fire, Telegraph. We can go on with all the fires that we've had that have impacted southern Tuolumne County and the rest of Tuolumne County. But I don't think we really did dodge a bullet in those cases. We had things in place. We had places we could fall back, places we could use for contingency lines, and get those prepped well in advance to be ready should that fire continue. So I think it was a matter of that preparedness, and I think it falls back to what Supervisor Rotifer was talking about and his efforts that he would like to engage in is being prepared and be ahead of that power curve, so when the fires do come, we are prepared and we have places to go, and we have those things ready and easily identifiable, and we can take action as needed. And I applaud the county for taking some active very proactive roles. The aggressiveness in the tree mortality that the county took on, it led the state, in accomplishments. And I included some of that tree mortality information in our SWIFT stuff. Not that we were the lead, but we did participate in the tree mortality meetings in both counties, and many of our members are members that were actively involved with that tree mortality issue and trying to get some of the cleanup done along the roads and in the forest and on the BLM lands. So, and also the master stewardship agreement that the county just engaged in. It's in its infancy right now, but the potential to get out there and help, resolve some of those issues, the decadent overgrown forest situations, and then, not only on the federal lands, but moving out into the private lands and helping to treat those that don't get treated so much by the private landowners. So, and it's not that the rest of the county isn't doing as much as we are in SWIFT. The 108 Fire Safe Council's been very active and done a lot of things over the years, and that's demonstrated by the Old Oak fire that hit the fuel break that they had worked on. So a lot of good efforts going on in the county, not just with SWIFT, but looking to try and not be that next Paradise Fire. So anyway, I think that's all I have. And
Supervisor Gray.
Yes, well, first, you kind of underplay a little bit the importance of SWIFT, and most importantly, the importance of you being the leader of SWIFT. You've done a tremendous job, Alan, and it's certainly appreciated. I think, the public, Tuolumne County should really know that we are a proactive county, and the things that are done through SWIFT and the other fire safe councils show that. We just want to step it up, as Supervisor Rutherford mentioned. We want to get up to the next level. But I'm the board representative to SWIFT, and I've always been impressed with the camaraderie of the group. Can have some really good discussions because the door is closed, and I think the sharing, the ability to be able to share is so important. You have to know what the other person's doing, so that's what SWIFT does, and I know without that in place, I don't think we would have had a Pine Mountain Lake. I don't think without the engagement that you had with CAL FIRE and U.S. Forest Service, right then, being available, show them where the breaks were, really expedited the process. Not that CAL FIRE isn't a good firefighting team, but I think it's the teamwork that allows those things to happen and make it better for us.
Okay. Any other board comments? Supervisor Brennan?
Yeah, I just want to echo that, and I absolutely, I know from talking to our CAL FIRE friends that SWIFT is largely responsible, especially with the rim fire and being the anchor point where they could stop the forward progress. And so I want to publicly say thank you for years, decades of service to this community, and it's really how do we expand and move this faster. And I would also say that, have the same comments, like I said, for the Fire Safe Council, the 108 Fire Safe Council. Tremendous work has been done, a tremendous volunteer force that has worked on that, and has, in a lot of ways, led, again, when we look at the state, people talk about SWIFT. They talk about the accomplishments, they talk about the collaborative effort and the work that's been done. And so, please, thank the entire team, because it is a team effort, and we're going to move this just faster and farther with everyone's efforts.
Just
Kirk.
new coming on. Thank you guys for your work. Anything I can do to support you guys. Government's #1 job is safety and security of its people. So but looking at that slideshow, fire breaks work, response times work. So we'll just keep pushing that train and pushing that agenda. And so anything I can do to support you guys. Thank you.
Got anything, Ryan?
All right, I'll chime in. I saw the work that you've done, through tree mortality in our conferences together, and I think you're doing a fantastic job, and keep it up. We need you.
Okay. I'm going to open it up to public comment now.
Good morning, members of the board. Josh White, Tuolumne County Fire Chief and CAL FIRE Unit Chief for the Tuolumne Calaveras Unit. I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank Mr. Johnson. The partnership, the collaborative effort that he brings to the table, that his entire team, fire doesn't care about boundaries. It doesn't care whether it's Mariposa or Tuolumne. It doesn't care if it's the SRA or the FRA. And what SWIFT does is brings everybody together, regardless of agency or responsibility, and creates that combined synergy to help us get those fuel breaks on the ground. Those fuel breaks, I mean, we have a whole laundry list of fires that we have identified. But firsthand, I can tell you when that Detweiler was in Mariposa and it was chomping at the door to attack into Tuolumne County, the maps that Alan was able to bring forward to sit down with our incident management team and lay out all of the different contingencies, multiple different contingency lines that we knew wave after wave, if the fire were to jump one line, we'd have another one. That's just the work that they had done. And I think that one slide that said, is it worth the effort? I hope that's a rhetorical question and everybody knows the answer to that. It absolutely is worth the effort. It is dollars invested it just comes back 10 or 100-fold back to us. So on behalf of Tuolumne County Fire, CAL FIRE, TCU, it's a great partnership. I really appreciate working with you and everything that we're doing to protect our communities. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
So one small point that might get lost in the program of work and the accomplishment is, with all those fires that came in or impacted the SWIFT area, once they got into the project area, there were a lot of structures lost and on occasion several lives lost from firefighters, including some recent ones with Ferguson. But once we got into the SWIFT area with those recent fires, those large fires, the Rim, the Detweiler, Telegraph, we never lost any structures or life in any of those as they impacted. All the structure loss was outside of the project area. So.
Good track record.
Thank you very much. And I'll go ahead, sir, please.
Hi there. Again, my name's Paul Slemons. I don't mean to take your time, but I live up on Cedar Ridge, and my deck overlooks the Mount Elizabeth, and more than 50% of the trees are dead. And if, not right now, but during the summertime, if there was a fire that ever started there, it would be the beginning of the end. And so I have a personal stake in this. And I'd like to ask you, I think that's where the rub is. You mentioned in your presentation that there's maintaining or thinning of forests and then the interface into private lands. Is there a plan or to work with the state? I think Gavin Newsom mentioned he's going to start a $1 billion fund for fire. Everybody knows it, after Paradise. It's a common knowledge. Is there a plan to thin out the forests and then work with the private lands that border those lands to thin not only the forest but private lands and also just lots that don't have houses on them? It's just, I think we need to go into high gear, and if there's a way to use that money and accelerate this on a very, let's turn on a dime, because the Paradise fire might happen next summer.
Okay. Go ahead.
So most of our focus from SWIFT has been on the perimeter of the communities, because it's really difficult, and we have to rely on the fire safe councils and mostly for grant funding to work on individual properties. So the biggest bang for our buck is to try and get some protection around those communities to either A, stop fire from coming into those communities, or stop fire if it comes from that community to moving into the next door neighbor community. So
Okay.
that's been our focus.
Thank you. And I'm going to make a statement that is probably going to be possibly even wildly unpopular, okay? But when we start talking about personal property, the problem gets so huge, so fast. And I'm going to tell you, in the effort that I talked about earlier, I mentioned participation of the public. That is also responsibility for your own property. And that's not going to be fun, and it's not going to be inexpensive. But at some point, obviously there are people that would be in need of resources. That's not everybody, and some people think they're in need of resources, and they aren't. But there's going to be, if we're going to get this county where we need to be, there's going to be some onus on personal property owners, and we just can't get away from that. So, and yes, we are going to, we're talking about all the personal property owners. That includes the people that live in San Francisco and own property up here that they haven't built a house on. But there is going to be some responsibility on our residents to take care of their own property. And I know that will be a little bit unpopular, but there will never be enough resources to do everything that needs to be done with government funding, grant funding, and everything included. So thank you very much for the presentation. More importantly, thank you very much for the critical work that you do on behalf of our citizens to keep us safe. And there is another Fire Safe Council in the county as well, and they're doing excellent work also. What I talked about earlier is exactly what Supervisor Gray said. Take it up another notch. We're not starting from ground zero. We've been doing a lot of stuff. Tree mortality work. We've been doing, working with the Forest Service. We're just stepping it up another notch, and we're going to need, it's a big notch, so we're going to need a lot of help. Thank you. Thank you very much. Would the clerk of the board please read item number 20?
Consideration of approving an agreement with NorCal Communications, Inc. for structured cabling services.
Hi, Daniel Richardson, here to present to you an important agreement that we have with before you for structured cabling services between the county and NorCal Communications. We sent out an RFP for cabling services at the new jail, and we had 5 submittals, and NorCal Communications came out as the winner. Before, we had a public comment about why can't we use the most qualified versus the lowest cost. In this case, we are not using the actual lowest cost, but the most qualified. This is actually the second lowest cost, but NorCal Communications did win the bid, and we're proposing to move forward with their services. What will they do for us? They'll do outside plant fiber optic cable installation inside the jail, also fiber optic cable installation. They'll also put in copper cable systems, voice systems, and then wireless access points where you actually plug in the cables into the walls. So that's what they'll do. The total cost of the project is $172,154.
Okay, any questions on this?
Yeah, so the does this money come out of the grants that have been provided by the state or from monies that have been obtained by the county through loans?
This is included in the county's capital budget, and I believe this comes out of the county's matching portion that we did debt service for.
And so are we, so this is money that we'll be spending and then paying interest on service for that debt, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, see, I think staff has done a very good job, finding us a good contractor to do this work, and I applaud you for that, but I don't like the idea of spending money in addition to what we have already been allocated through the state funds. So
The,
ship has sailed.
the jail project has been approved by the Board of Supervisors, and the amount of money has been approved by the Board of Supervisors, and this is coming out of that pot of money.
That's not the issue. It's how much should that pot be? And
The amount of that pot has been approved by the Board of Supervisors.
yeah, well,
Any other comments or questions? Okay, public comment? Okay, I'll bring it back to the board and looking for a motion.
Move on staff recommendation.
Second.
Motion by Supervisor Gray, second by Supervisor Brennan. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
no.
Abstain? The vote is 4-1 with Supervisor Campbell in opposition. Would the clerk of the board please read item number 21?
Consideration of opting in and participating in the state's Census 2020 outreach activities by endorsing staff to fill out the letter of intent, an outreach agreement, and preparing a local strategic plan.
Morning, Daniel Richardson. Again, with Census 2020 coming upon our heels, we did approach your board a few weeks ago about the possibility of conducting our own local complete count committee for Tuolumne County to reach out to those hard-to-count populations to encourage them to participate in the census that is coming up in a year from now. In doing so, the state has asked us if they've given us $75,000 if the county wishes to accept this money to conduct this complete count committee and to put together this new organization. So before you today, in order to accept the state's money, we need to issue a letter to the state opting in. And once we opt in, should your board choose to do so, then we would prepare a strategic plan and participate in these monthly phone calls with the state and implement the plan and report back to the state. The proposal to conduct a complete count committee, we could do it with staff. We could do it with getting an outside consultant to run it. Our recommendation is to engage an outside consultant to help us to put together this complete count committee. With that, we do have the letter before you, and we're encouraged to, we look forward to hearing from you. I just want to mention I've also heard from Calaveras County and Amador County who are wondering how we're going to conduct our outreach efforts and what consultants we might use.
Supervisor Gray.
Cost and how and where does the money come from?
This money is state funded. It is not coming out of the county coffers. The state has set aside almost $100 million for outreach efforts for census. And of this, they've allocated certain amounts to each county. Our amount is $75,000.
Thank you.
Supervisor Brennan.
So it's basic. My basic understanding is that instead of the state conducting this, the county would be conducting this. And I will say that I am all in favor of that approach and think that using the network of resources that we have in Tuolumne County, I think we can do a much better job of counting. I know there were a number of issues with the 2010 count, and I am in complete support of this.
Supervisor Campbell.
Yeah, as a 19-year-old, I got my first paycheck as an enumerator for the U.S. Census for 2000, and so I just want to express the importance of this count and that all of our citizens be counted. For each individual that is not counted, it costs us anywhere from, I think it's something like $1,200 per non-represented individual. So it's very important in a very concrete way that we have an accurate count of our citizens. I just had a question about the four options that we're being asked to consider. So I like the idea of hiring a contractor to do this work. Do we have any contractors in mind for this, or are we, by our vote, asking you to begin the process of seeking out a contractor?
The latter. Okay. I do have some in mind, but I don't want to mention the names because I don't want to preclude others that may be out there in the community and be eager to engage in the service. But there are those who direct other organizations in Tuolumne County that I think would do an excellent job at this, okay. But they would need to apply.
Okay, and if the costs were above what we had expected, would it be possible to come back and then potentially revise it and look at some of these other options, hiring in staff within the county to do this?
Well, certainly. If it's above the $75,000, we would come back to the board to request additional local funds. We don't anticipate that, but if it does, we would definitely come back.
Great. Yeah, I'm excited that we're able to do this, so thank you.
Supervisor Kirk?
I just think I'm glad to see local government given the responsibility instead of the state. And it's, just to reiterate, state funded, 75,000?
Yes.
Great. Okay, thank you.
So, public comment? Okay, bring it back to the board. Are you looking for a specific?
In this case, it's just endorsing staff to move forward, to fill out the letter of intent, and we'll just follow the state process as it rolls out. You're saying move forward with engaging with the state.
Okay, do you need a motion or consensus?
Yes, they do want a minute order.
Okay.
We
I'll
did.
move on staff recommendation.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion by Supervisor Brennan and a second by Supervisor Campbell. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? 5-0. Will the clerk of the board please read our 11 o'clock presentation?
I think there was
This is a
item 22 as well.
this is a presentation recognizing 20 years of First Five and the passing of Proposition 10.
Good morning. I have a little presentation to set up, so give me just 30 seconds here.
Okay, can we do another agenda item while you set up? Okay, I didn't want to delay your presentation. Would the clerk of the board please read item 22?
Sure. This is consideration of adopting a policy regarding county phone number assignments to the members of the Board of Supervisors.
All right.
Go ahead.
So the item before you today is regarding Board of Supervisors phone number. So the past policy, it's been an informal policy, has been to assign the phone number for that district to any incoming supervisors. What we're asking your board to do today is to consider formalizing that policy, and then what we would do is also these would be listed on the website, whereas now you'll see a 5521 that's listed. This would actually list the actual phone numbers for each supervisor.
Yeah, I have one comment on that. In the draft document that we received, it looks like District 2 and District 5 are the same number. I think that's probably a typo.
Yes, we'll fix that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Other than that, no more comments.
Okay.
Move we
Public comment? Thank you. Bring it back to the board.
move we approve the policy.
Okay, I got a motion.
Second.
Second, motion by Supervisor Gray, second by Supervisor Brennan. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained? 5-0.
With noted changes, right?
Pardon me?
With noted changes.
Yes, with noted changes. And are you ready? Okay. Just a formality, will you read the 11 o'clock appointment again?
This is a presentation recognizing 20 years of First Five and the passing of Proposition 10.
You're on.
Good morning. My name is Sarah Garcia. I'm the director of First Five for Tuolumne County. And like Alicia said, I'm here to provide some information about First Five, Tuolumne County, in celebration of 20 years of the passing of Proposition 10. So First Five was voted on in 1998 by the passing of Proposition 10, like I said, which was a 50-cent tax on all tobacco products. And that proposition created the California Children and Families First Act of 1998, which was later to be known as First Five. So these revenues that come in from the tobacco taxes must be used to enhance the early growth experiences of children, enabling them to be more successful in school and be more successful in life. The purpose and specific uses of these funds and how we use them here in Tuolumne County are to promote resilient families, increase comprehensive health and development and improve that, and also for quality early learning. And I wanted to give a little background about the children in Tuolumne County. Who are our 0 to 5 kids? So right now, as of 2016, we have 2,735 children under the age of 5 in Tuolumne County. And as you can see, our numbers are steadily decreasing, which I'm sure you already know that. But there's a variety of factors, cost of housing, jobs for young families, and the like, and some people also choosing not to have children because of those factors. In Tuolumne County, of all the children that need childcare with parents that are working, there's only space for 29% of those children. So in our county, 71% of people that need childcare don't have access to childcare just because there is a limited number of spaces. And also in Tuolumne County, 77% of mothers receive prenatal care, which is quite a bit less than the state average of 83%. And as you heard Mark Dyken talking a little bit about earlier, we hear a lot in the news about ACEs, the adverse childhood experiences, and I'm not going to go through all of these numbers because they are in your agenda, but it is a huge issue for families in Tuolumne County who've experienced adverse childhood experiences, which then creates a domino effect in their life. In Tuolumne County, we have one of the lowest rates of immunizations of our kindergartners. You can see on our chart here, the state average is, right in the middle, and we are the 3rd lowest in the state for childhood immunizations. But we do have a good rate of mothers who are exclusively breastfed while they're in the hospital. We have a good team of people that work in our birth center that help families initiate breastfeeding, which is a little bit higher than the state average. So we as a state and as a county, we are not meeting the needs of our kids, as you can see, just through those few mildly depressing statistics I just shared with you. 1 in 7 children are have reported abuse or neglect before the age of 5. That's pretty high. And 1 in 4 young children experience housing instability. Sorry, I feel like I'm reaching really far for this. And as many as 10,000 children are missing out on early intervention services each year. And only 45% of our 3rd graders are reading at grade level. And this is a number you've probably seen, but 47% of children in California live in or near poverty. That's really high. So part of my job as a First Five director is to share information with you about how important our first 5 years of life are. What happens as a child shapes who we are as an adult and the rest of society. So if we have positive parenting and good role models that have resilience, they improve our abilities to relate to others, we do better in school and at home, and we have safe and thriving communities. If we have good access to health care, we have healthy habits and healthier lives, and have a healthier population, which saves on social and medical costs. If we have kids that participate in high-quality preschool, they have a higher likelihood of graduating from high school, and they are more skilled in the workforce. So it all starts when they're babies. And I hear you talk a lot about where are we investing our funds. Every single dollar that we spend in our county is important. Where our state dollars go is important. And our public money goes furthest when we invest in our young children. There are studies that show that we get a 13% return on investment when we invest in those early years. I don't know if you have personal investments, but if I had one that gave me a 13% increase, I'd be pretty excited. I don't know what a great, do you have any, what's a good return on investment?
Yeah.
1% on your
1%.
savings account?
Anything.
Right. So investing in our young children has a really high rate of return. Besides, it also feels good when you invest in young children, but that's just an emotional return. If you look and see how other countries are investing in their young children and families, you'll see that the United States is way behind. We are right around where Turkey and Mexico are investing, which is around 0.4%. We are 5.5% for our state or for our federal government, and these in the United States go towards child tax credits, child care, paid family leave, and support for parents. In general, one of the problems for being a parent is that it's really hard to navigate these systems. You need medical care, you need child care, you need to find parenting supports, you need a resource center, you have a mental health condition. It's really challenging to connect with these services. And that's one thing that First Five has been working really hard all over the state, is to be a hub for those services and be an agency that can help connect all those services together to make sure that our 0 to 5 children and their families are getting what they need. And again, these are some of our assets. This is where we're partnering here in Tuolumne County. So to enhance and improve, create resilient families, we are working with ATCA, the Amador Tuolumne Community Action Agency, and we fund their Family Learning Center, where parents could come in, work on their GED, get tutoring in English language, and they can get some parenting support services and parenting groups. We work with ISIS, the Infant Child Enrichment Services, with their Raising Healthy Families program, which is in-home parenting support. So they have people that can come into the home and help parents learn new tools to better support their families. We work with public health, with a public health nurse who provides outreach and help connect people with public health services. We have the Smile Keepers program, which is run through Tuolumne County Superintendent of Schools. And I think Erica's here today from Smile Keepers. She's going to talk to you just for a minute about what Smile Keepers has been doing. We just started a new partnership with Adventist Health, and they are helping to distribute our new parent kits to every single parent that has a baby here in the county. I brought a couple samples. So in this kit that every single parent gets, if they want, there's a book in here, what to do if your child gets sick. There's just something here to read to your child. There's a whole bunch of resources on things that parents might need. There's phone numbers to connect with different services that you might need. And information here, too, about like poison control. Just simple things that parents, you get that manual when you get your driver's license. We always say you have to get a driver's license, but no one sends you home with information on what to do with your children. So we're trying to fix that, one step at a time. And the Birth Center has been a great resource for us connecting with these new families. We also work with ATCA on this new program that we've started just a couple years ago called Quality Counts, which is money that we're getting from the state Department of Education to improve the quality of our local child care. So we gave out, I think, $64,000 in stipends last year directly to local child care and preschool teachers. So any type of continuing education that they got, they received a stipend for that. So it was well received, and we're going to continue doing that every year. That's a kind of a partnership between ATCA, ISIS, and First Five. We also have our Social Emotional Learning Foundations program, which is specifically about social emotional issues that are with kids. We have our coach. She goes out and works with the preschool teachers and helps them resolve any problems that they might be having with a particular student to help keep them stable in their preschool setting. So before we had this program, there were a lot of kids in Tuolumne County who were getting kicked out of preschool for behavior issues. And that's, something that is not good. A good way to start your educational career, getting kicked out of preschool. So this program was created, and really, did you get kicked out of preschool?
He did.
It's not too late for you.
We both should have gotten.
Preschool wasn't invented. In fact, there wasn't even kindergarten when I started school. I'm old.
It's okay. We still like you. So this program was really created to help alleviate that issue. And what it does is works mostly with the teachers and not with the student. A little bit with the student, but mostly in how to create an environment that helps that child feel safe and stable, that gets rid of those behaviors that that had become a problem. So it's a really successful program. We also just started a new program called the Imagination Library, which is part of the Dolly Parton Foundation. And we are partnering with the Dolly Parton Foundation as well as the Sonora Area Foundation and the Friends of the Tuolumne County Library. And every child in Tuolumne County now, from the ages of when they're born until they turn 5, is eligible to get free books sent to them every single month from birth until age 5. So First 5 Tuolumne as well as Sonora Area Foundation, we're paying for this program. So if a child gets signed up, every single month they'll get a book in the mail that's developmentally appropriate. So depending on how old they are, the book will be tailored to them. And our hope for this is just to connect families with literacy, create some bonding moments for parents and their kids, and help start that family library. And I have some sign-up information here, too, that I'll leave on the back table if there's anybody that's interested. So Tuolumne County has grants that are open right now. That's part of the other reason why I'm here today, is to let you know, as I did, I think, a few weeks ago, that our grants are now open. We do 4-year grant funding cycles, and we have 2 specific programs, areas that we're looking for proposals. The first one is Resilient Families. So we have $216,000 a year, every year for the next 4 years, set aside specifically for programs for promoting parental resilience, creating social connections, concrete supports in times of crisis, and knowledge of parenting and child development. So we have this grant funding set aside. People can find all the details on our website, which I'll give you in a minute, but it's first5tuolumne.org. We also have $65,000 set aside each year for the next 4 years for comprehensive health and development. And our long-term goal is to build a family-centered health system that prioritizes prevention and specifically accessing Medi-Cal services, especially dental, mental health, and vision. So that's kind of the parameters of that goal and that grant. We also, this is not a competitive grant process that we're going into, but we invest about $250,000 a year specifically to quality early learning, which is that social emotional learning foundations program I was talking about that improves the abilities of teachers to engage students with social and emotional challenges. And also the Quality Counts program, which is improving the quality of our local childcare and preschools with the teacher stipends and those kind of things. So First 5 has quite a few strengths, I think. We are a significant funder of early childhood programs in Tuolumne County and all over the state. First 5 statewide has made nearly $10 billion in investments over the last 20 years in early care and education. They also have experts from every single county that are working towards these same goals. We have partnerships with different agencies all over the state and within the county, and this is a voter-mandated program. So we have a voter mandate to focus on the child and coordinate within all these different sectors. A brief little synopsis of what we've been doing here in the county is, as of last year, we served 886 primary caregivers, 116 teachers, 167 children, birth to 3, and 646 children 3 to 5. And then we have some other demographics there, but again, these are all in your agenda packet. And just kind of I broke it out here between our different programs that we fund, but we've had a significant increase in the number of people that are being served by our Smile Keepers program, which is almost reaching 1,000 clients last year, which is really significant. We also get funding from more than just the state tobacco tax money. So a big portion of it is that tobacco tax money, but we also receive a portion from the state First Five, which is another portion of that tobacco tax money. But because we are a small county and the tobacco tax money that we get is dependent on our population, if we only relied on that money, we wouldn't have a First Five. It would be very small, the amount of money we would get. So some of the larger First Five commissions in the state agreed to give smaller counties a larger proportion of that tax money so that we can be sustainable and have a functioning and really good, solid First Five within our county. So we get some money from behavioral health for our social emotional program. And then we also have some contracts with First Five in the state. We have been really successful in helping parents get parenting skills, improve their literacy, get job skills, and become more educated. We also, like I said a minute ago, we have a great coordinated effort going on now with our in-home daycare providers and preschool teachers in improving their skills. And with our SELF program, kids are not getting kicked out of preschool anymore, or very rarely. And we also had a significant increase over the last 20 years in children's oral health. So how we're going to move together. This is my slide that I just would really love for you to hold on to and remember, that 90% of a child's brain development happens before the age of 5. That is huge. And I remember before I had any experience in child development, I always thought, oh, for example, taking your kids to Disneyland. Why would you ever take your kids to Disneyland before they're like 5 or 6? They're not going to remember that. Or anything like that. Well, they're not going to remember that. I don't have a lot of memories before the age of 5 or 6. But those connections that are happening and those building of connections in your brain mostly happen before you turn 5. So it's a significant period of time that we need to foster and really invest in. And our overall First Five and hopefully statewide goal is that one day the success of California will be measured by the well-being of its youngest children. And as I learned from Carlin over my ethics trainings, everything is more interesting when you put pictures of your own kids in. So that is my youngest, who I just love this picture. And he'd be very embarrassed that I'm putting this up here. But
He'll probably be a lot older before he starts getting embarrassed. So.
I don't know. I'm pretty good.
Okay.
So do you have any questions for me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll start over here with Anaya this time. I'm leaving him to last.
Just a few, and I'll be working with you more since I'm assigned to the committee, so I look forward to that. And having young kids, I hear you. I guess my 2 questions, or maybe 3, in your slideshow, it says you only have space for 29% in this community. So what is your organization doing for that, or to address that issue?
Well, what we're doing as a statewide network is working with the new governor in increasing the knowledge of these facts and also increasing state funding for these programs. As you'll see in the new budget, it's definitely addressed as one of the main funding priorities of our new governor. So that's been a huge success, at least for First Five, is making the statewide message clear that it's not just Tuolumne County. This is a statewide issue that we're working to fix.
So even if you get the funding, though, will you ever have enough providers?
It's a really complex issue, specifically because child care providers don't get paid enough. So even if we opened up a bunch of centers, the pay is not relative to the work that they do and the education that's required. So I want to say yes, we're going to solve this, but I don't have the answer, you know.
And just one or two more things. I believe Newsom in his new budget is trying to fund some stuff for early childhood, so it'll be interesting to see how that develops. But then my last question, you know the Promise program at Columbia College, where the kids after they graduate, they get the first year covered. Have you guys ever considered something along those lines for First Five? Setting up getting with the private industries and businesses and organizations and people to try and start something similar for the younger age group?
Well, there is a program there now actually to encourage people to get into child development. So they have a whole really innovative program going on at Columbia College right now with a child development degree where they can get their books and tuition and things like that paid for. So that's part of what the college is doing to encourage more providers. But we haven't, like as far as paying for childcare slots, or you mean paying
I was
for...
thinking, and we can talk more about this later so I don't take up all the time, but more along the lines of parents who are trying to better themselves, get into college, get into a better voc or career, but they can't afford it because they have young children. If we had a program similar to the Promise program, specific for that type of group of people, I think that would be something we could talk about.
I think there might be something similar to that happening, but I'll have to look into it and get some more information for you. Yeah.
Supervisor Brennan.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of programs. The issue is going to really be about how we can engage and grow our partnerships, because if we're going to be successful, that's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to find a way that we can grow those partnerships, because it's like a lot of the other things that we talk about in our rural counties. Resources, I believe, will always be tight. I am encouraged that we're going to see some additional revenue streams for this, but we have to be creative. And it's like the small county or rural county augmentation that we've been getting. Quite honestly, that really has kept us up and running. But I really truly do believe it's going to be in the partnerships that develop. And I want to thank Sarah for that, because I think you've been on board now for 18 months?
Yep.
Okay. And I think you grasp that, and that working with the First Five commissioners, they grasp it, and we're going to have to really, again, think outside of the box. How do we become more effective in how we spend those monies? My question really is only if you're going through the granting process, if somebody wants to reach out, get a hold of you, can you provide that information?
Sure.
If somebody is interested in First Five and attending meetings, can you provide the meeting information, where you meet, what time, and so that the public is aware that they can attend those meetings?
Yes, our meetings are open meetings. Anyone can attend anytime. Our next meeting was supposed to be this coming, it was going to be the first week of February, but we're moving it to March 6th because of these grants that are coming through. We need a little bit more time to get prepared. You'll see that email in your inbox. But our meetings are every other first Monday of the month, but they're it's hard to explain, but they're on our website, which is first5tuolumne.org, and they're right there on the first page of our website, all the details of the meetings. We hold them at the Superintendent of Schools office in room 217 from 1:15 to 3:30. And my direct contact information is again, at the Superintendent of Schools, but it's 536-2070. And my email address is sgarcia@tcsos.us.
Thank you. Supervisor Gray.
Supervisor Kirk answered the question, or asked the question about the availability of, we don't have enough caretakers for the kids. And you addressed that it is a complex situation, and I do know that we have a new preschool being built right now that's going to take maybe some of the load, but certainly not enough. So I do know that a lot of the hospital is working, and I'm not sure if the question is, have you spoke with the hospital about their plans for child care and their needs by any chance?
I haven't spoken to the hospital yet. I have spoken to some other large employers in the county and looked at some ideas around like community development block grants and those kind of things. So they're really early stages.
Okay, I'm going to throw one bizarre thing out there. Is when
Bring it on.
we're building this new Justice Center and everything, and it would seem, because of the number of employees and the type of employees we have out there, that we might look at the possibility of we have a piece of property of maybe a private sector person putting additional child care facilities in there. I think it would really help county employees and the public at large. So
Call me. I'd love to talk to you about it.
just throwing it out there.
Okay.
Supervisor Campbell.
So as a parent of 3 children, all under the age of 5, I'm very interested in the work you do, and I'm very grateful for the work you do. I can speak from personal experience that when you find child care resources in Tuolumne County that are safe and where you feel comfortable leaving your kids, it's like having gold. It's so difficult to find that, and it takes, my children were on a waiting list. My oldest was on a waiting list for about 5 months to get placed to where she is now, and so it's a huge challenge, and it's a huge challenge for working families. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I just have one question, and if you know where we can find the information, that would be helpful. You mentioned that Tuolumne County is the 3rd lowest in the state in terms of immunizations for children.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of taken aback by that statistic. I didn't realize that the situation was that bad. What efforts are being done to help improve that, and what can we do to help support those efforts?
I am not sure. I can look into it and send you more information if you'd like.
Okay.
The details from that I got off of kidsdata.org,
Yeah.
which is a really great website that pulls data from all different sources.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure.
Yeah, it seems like with such a low population of children at that age group, if we just kind of put some more emphasis in that area, it wouldn't take that much to bump that number up pretty significantly.
Yeah, there were 2 statistics that you used that concern me a little bit. Not what you do is phenomenally important, and thank you very much for that. And we do have problems in both of these areas, but they mask the statistics that you used mask a little bit of some issues that are out there. One is in child care and the percentages of that. There's a number of families that don't need and would not avail themselves of child care, and they're wrapped in that figure a little bit. The number is small, so I'm not so concerned about that. But on immunizations, there's a relatively large portion of our population that believes that immunizations are not necessary and unsafe, and they're not seeking them out. So I don't know how large that is, but I'm personally aware of a significant group of people that would not seek out immunization. So I just don't know how bad the problem is. I was also concerned about the numbers in both of those categories, but I think there's some hidden things that make them not so bad. They're still bad, don't get me wrong, but there's some public opinion issues out there that are associated with, especially with the immunization thing. So anyway, but yeah, go ahead.
Just real quick, because I dealt with this. I believe it's when you go into kindergarten and then 3rd grade and then maybe junior high or high school. There's 2 or 3 stop points along the way. So the kids that might be represented in this statistic, they have to deal with it at one point or another. I dealt with it with my kids in kindergarten. I have personal beliefs on it, but it's not like, I don't believe that statistic shows that there's just kids out there who hasn't been addressed. It's the majority of the time it's the parents go through a process to get their child exempt from immunization. So that's
and I'm not making a value judgment on immunizations. I'm just stating the fact that there's a population out there that would prefer, and a lot of them are homeschooled, so they never have to go through the gates. So, but really important work. Anybody that doesn't believe that slide about how much of the brain is formed ought to be thinking about it a little bit, because it's true. And very important work, very nice presentation. Thank you very much for coming. Any public comment, please?
Good morning. I'm Corey Allen, Deputy Director with the Department of Social Services and current Chair of the First Five Commission for Tuolumne County. I really just wanted to acknowledge that your Department of Social Services is very strongly engaged in the activities that we're doing here locally. I'm excited about the last 20 years and what we've been able to accomplish, but even more, I'm thrilled about where we're headed. We're looking at really creating opportunities for creative approaches to meeting families where they are. And I think that resiliency is our number one area where we can continue to build families' capacity to ensure safety for children. The Department of Social Services is very deeply engaged in making sure children who are at or near poverty have access, and I'm excited to be a part of that. So I just want to make sure I acknowledge that.
Thank you for being a part of it.
You're welcome.
I was just going to mention to Supervisor Kirk that Columbia College has quite a child care system set up, so you might want to go out and visit that sometime, because it's pretty impressive. And then Dr. Bernstein, your public health officer, is very concerned about our vaccination rates, so you might want to either invite him here or have a chat, because he's very concerned about that also.
Sure.
Good morning. My name is Erica Hagstrom-Dossie, and I'm the Smile Keepers Coordinator for Tuolumne County, Superintendent of Schools. And I wanted to just shed a little light on, or ask the question, has anyone here ever had a toothache? A good one? Good one? Okay. The importance of having healthy children from birth is something that I have witnessed in the 20 years that Smile Keepers has been funded with First Five. We were one of the initial programs to be funded and have been happily funded for the past 20 years and are hoping to be funded for the next 4 as well. We are in that competitive grant cycle right now. But the health of young children in the dental arena, of course, is my area of concentration. And as you well know, teeth are located in the head, believe it or not, and a dental infection can lead to a brain infection as well. And our focus with First Five has to been help families first and then children identify and address any dental, medical, social, emotional, and health needs that arise. And Sarah has been a wonderful addition to the First Five team at Tuolumne County Superintendent of Schools. And I just want to thank the board for your support as well. We always come through County Council first and have received so much support through your board over the last 20 years, so that's very much appreciated. And we look forward to a continued partnership. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I just add, it takes special people to go out and do this job, and Erica has been very fondly dubbed the Tooth Fairy. and she's the Tooth Fairy for a lot of reasons, and it's because she has that interaction. She's out there with the kids, and then she has an opportunity to provide information, to be that conduit, to say, hey, there are these other resources. And again, every time we have that opportunity to do that, it's a win. And so I want to thank the Tooth Fairy and actually all of the providers that work with First Five, because it really is a special skill set, and just want to express my appreciation.
I just had a couple of questions. One about the immunity rates that we have. Have we fallen below the percentage that we need for herd immunity? So our at-risk children who cannot have immunizations now at risk because we've fallen below that level?
I'm not sure about that.
I think it's 95% for herd immunity, but your stats don't show that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And
that would be a good question for the public health officer.
Okay, thank you. And my second question was in terms of access to child care on innovative programs. Have you looked at establishing parent co-ops? I participated in one long ago when I had children that age, and it's a partnership between trained professionals and parents who can contribute a certain number of hours. And a lot of our people are going part-time to school or working part-time, and that might be a way to increase the penetration for childcare. I don't know if you're looking into that.
Not at the moment, but that's a good idea. I'll take note.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other public comment? Thank you for the presentation. It was wonderful. Yeah. You're wonderful, and the work you do is really, really important. Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm going to leave some handouts at the back of the room.
Pardon me?
I'm going to leave some handouts at the back of the room in case.
Please do. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Will the clerk please read item number 23?
Reports.
Okay. I'll start with Anaya. No, I won't. I'll start with the clerk of the board.
Thank you, but I have nothing to report.
Okay. Now I'll go to the county council.
Sure. Last week I was at the County Council Board of Directors meeting, which was really good. We're making some good improvements for our association. And as far as work, my office, some things that we've been focusing on, public records requests, taking substantial amount of time, SB 1421, and then EDA and other requests.
Okay. Thank you. CAO.
So last week, our office went away for our what we call our annual retreat. It was really good, and I'll be sharing some of those outcomes with you a little bit later. But very thankful for that time. We have a great crew, and looking forward to this next year.
You do have a great crew. Supervisor Kirk.
Nothing other than we got assigned our committees, so we're jumping into those and report more later.
Okay. Supervisor Campbell.
Yeah, I hope I'm not overzealous here in my reporting. I'm just very excited with all the things we have done over the past week and a half. January 7th, sworn in. January 9th, I attended a San Francisco Public Utilities event at the Tuolumne County Superintendent of Schools. We got to meet a lot of the people that benefit from those programs. I attended with Supervisor Kirk. January 9th, the Tuolumne County served on the Tuolumne County Transit Agency with Supervisor Gray. Also, January 9th, we also with Supervisor Gray served on the Tuolumne County Transportation Council. During that meeting, we directed staff to solicit the public for interested individuals to serve as a citizen at large for the Transportation Council, which will be appointed by the board at a future meeting. People that are interested in that can inquire by calling 209-533-5603. January 10th, attended a YES partnership meeting with Supervisor Kirk. January 14th, attended Tuolumne County Commission on Aging. And then one thing I wanted to add, actually two things. Last week, I received an email from a constituent asking what they could do to help the homeless problem in our community. I was impressed with this person's desire to improve their community, and so accordingly, I bombarded them with information, which I'd like to share a little bit of that. On Thursday, the 10th, at the Enrichment Center, ATCA will be training individuals for the homelessness point-in-time survey. On January 20th, so this Sunday at 2 p.m. at Sonora High School, the Martin Luther King Committee will host a panel discussion about poverty and the motherlode. And I would also encourage residents to volunteer with community service organizations like Interfaith. I'd also like to invite residents of District 2 or other Tuolumne County residents to visit me in my office here at 2 South Green Street. You can also call the board office at 533-5521 or my personal cell phone, which is 681-2681. So thank you for this opportunity, and I pledge to represent you to the best of my abilities. That is my report.
Supervisor Gray.
I was with Ryan last week.
Okay.
Most of the time. Quick report. On Thursday, I was in contact with Congressman McClintock concerning the effects of the shutdown that has on the gateway communities and 120 in particular. he asked me if I would be willing to go to Yosemite and do a eyes-on assessment of what the park looked like and send him some pictures. So I did, and I have to say there was no garbage overflowing. The park was as quiet as I've seen it in 25 years. The shuttle buses were half full. Places that you would fight for a parking spot were wide open. Was one of the most pleasant visits I've had to the park in a long time. So the news media that is putting out this stuff that it's not a good place to be are wrong. It is a beautiful place to be, and I encourage anybody that hasn't been to the park recently to go up now, because it'll be a great experience. There are some things that are not open. We talked about those, like the Visitor Center and Merced Grove and the Wawona Grove trees. The park, U.S. Department of Interior has given park superintendents the ability to use maintenance funds to do the garbage and the road plowing and all the safety things. So it may be shut down, but it's still a beautiful place to go. So I would encourage everybody to take a ride up there and spend money in Groveland as you go through.
Supervisor Brennan, you going to run right up there and spend some money in Groveland? You're up.
I love spending money in Tuolumne County.
Too.
So just a couple of quick things. On January 10th, attended a Vision Sonora meeting, and they are moving forward with some of their projects that are in the Vision and Sonora plan, and just want to encourage anybody that wants to look at those to visit their website, and their meetings are posted, and they've got a number of things that they're working on. Supervisor Campbell mentioned the point-in-time count, and I wanted to highlight that because that is where we go out in a 24-hour period and count the homeless population and try and get some information about the homeless population. It's a very important count, and it takes boots on the ground to get it done. And that's coming up. If you are interested in participating, please reach out to ADCA, and they can give you some direction. Again, a lot of the resources that Tuolumne County will be eligible for are really predicated on what the condition is. And so that count's important for a lot of reasons, but getting accurate information is front and center, and it's our opportunity to do that. And then lastly, she's actually president now of CSAC. Virginia Bass has asked me to serve as the chair for the Ag, Environment, and Natural Resource Committee, and I did accept that position.
Okay, thank you. My report, mostly I've been meeting with some local community leaders and experts in the area of fire prevention in preparation for putting together the little speech that I gave this morning on the initiative. Yesterday, first of all, last Friday, I did attend the ADCA board meeting along with Supervisor Kirk, and we talked about the process to replace the soon-to-be departing Executive Director Raj Rambab, and then yesterday I went with several people that have already spoken and didn't mention it, so I will, up to Sacramento. We had a half-hour meeting, an hour-and-a-half meeting, and a 3-hour meeting, all wrapped around a little bit of a lunch break. Mostly talking tree mortality, fire prevention, fire-wise communities, different topics. It's the outgrowth. Two of them were kind of the outgrowth of the tree mortality task force that we've been attending. So pretty much focused on fire prevention and fire-wise communities for the last couple of weeks. nonstop. And other than that, I'm going to go ahead and adjourn the morning session. We're going to break for lunch, and we will. I'm going to defer item 24 until after the 1:30 appointment. So we are adjourned. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our board meeting. Would the clerk of the board please read our 1:30 agenda item?
This is a public hearing to consider Red Tail Ridge, Inc., an ordinance for a zone change and a notice of exemption.
Okay, I'm going to open up the public hearing. Staff report.
Good afternoon, Quincy Yaley, Assistant Director of Development at the Community Resources Agency. The project before you today is Zone Change RZ 18-012. As we do with all our projects, we evaluate them in the context of the vision, mission, and values of the Tuolumne County, and one of those is innovative solutions to problem solving, which we constantly use when we are working on our development projects. The project before you today is to rezone a 1.8 acre portion of a 534.6 acre parcel from RE10, which is residential estate with a 10 acre minimum, to O, open space. The project is before you because we have an application for a lot line adjustment, and we need to process a zone change in order to facilitate that lot line adjustment. The map is not before you today. That project will be heard by the county surveyor once the zone change is completed. This is a map of the proposed property. The project site is a portion of the Red Tail Ridge subdivision, which was approved a number of years ago. The northwest corner of this property, highlighted in green, you can see is surrounded by existing open space, and the application is just to extend that open space slightly to the west, the area highlighted green, and so it would go from RE10 to open space. This is another map of the open space zoning. The parcel to the north, parcel A, is where the lot line adjustment is going to be requested, and it's expanding that parcel from about 5.5 acres to 8 acres in size. That zoning is RE5, so the lot line adjustment doesn't allow that parcel to be divided or anything like that. It's just expanding the property a little bit more. In order to approve a zone change, specific findings need to be made, consistency with the general plan and the zoning code, as well as that the project site's suited to the uses permitted under the proposed zoning district, which is O, and that the proposed zone change is categorically exempt from environmental review pursuant to Section 15307 of the state CEQA guidelines. You are the decision-making body for this project, and so you may either approve the project project with modifications, deny the project, or send the project back to staff, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions of the board at this point? Okay, then we'll go ahead and take public comment. First of all, does anyone wish to speak in favor of the project? Does anyone wish to speak against the project?
I just want to know how it affects Upper Hillview.
Come on up to the mic. If you're against the project, then speak now. If you're not, then anybody that wants to speak neutral to the project, come on up, and you'll have to come to the podium and ask your question.
Hi, my name is Bonnie Ritchie, and I live on Upper Hillview.
Okay, and your question is of staff.
How is this going to affect Upper Hillview?
Um,
I missed the last meeting, so I really don't know.
Okay, staff?
Familiar with where Upper Hillview is? Maybe you could get some clarification on its location.
Well, it's definitely on the map.
Oh, over here.
Right here.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thanks. So because the project site's just proposing to rezone a small portion to open space, it doesn't increase any development potential either of the approved project or the proposed project. It really just actually extends a no-build area onto into the green area, and so it's the open space zoning is for wildlife retention purposes, tree retention, and things like that. So it just expands that area of existing open space zoning, and like I said, it's to facilitate a lot line adjustment with a property off of Lions-Bald Mountain Road.
Okay.
I wouldn't expect that it would impact Upper Hillview at all.
Okay, thank you.
You got it.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Any other public comment? Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing, bring it back to the board. I'll start with Supervisor Brennan. If you have anything you want to add, since it's in your zone.
No, and just be prepared to make a motion when you're ready. And, yeah.
Okay, any other?
I would like to make a comment, but just on the process. We go through a lot of work to rezone something into open space, and I know there's reasons why, and maybe County Council or Quincy could give us the reasoning why we go through this process.
In order to rezone property, the government code requires both review by the Planning Commission in a public hearing format, and then your board in a public hearing format. And that is how you can rezone property.
And that's because we voted on the original zoning, right?
Changing any zoning requires
Okay.
this process.
So, point is that we need to have some help somewhere at a higher level to make this process more streamlined, in my opinion.
Muy bueno.
One of the things that staff did do is when you all restructured the fee schedule for planning, we did specifically include line items for projects that were exempt from environmental review. So one thing we've tried to do at least is to make it less expensive.
Okay. Any other comments from the board? Supervisor Brennan.
Yes, I move approval of zone change RZ 18-012 based on A through D.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Supervisor Brennan, second by Supervisor Gray. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Passes 5-0. Would clerk of the board please read our closed session item?
This is a closed session, Public Employee Performance Evaluation, Authority Government Code Section 54957B1, and the title is County Administrator.
Ms. County Administrator, do we expect a report out? Okay. Then we are going to go into closed session, and we will report out if necessary at the conclusion of that closed session. Thank you very much.